So today we're gonna test out just me and the phone's microphone and see what happens. That way, at the very least, when I can do 10-minute TikToks, which is on only one of my lovely phones, I don't need to have anything else. Obviously, for those of you who don't like background noise, I'm so sorry. You can, I don't know, filter it, lower the voice. No, it's, I don't think there are that many people that are, what's the word, using anything online and not aware of how technology can malfunction. Also, the functional adults are who I'm talking to, and those are all individuals who know how to forgive, and they are nuanced, and that's because they have a love language that is of that 5DC in the enlightenment soul age group love language, and that's because of their integrated brain, flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Thank you, Dan Siegel, for that. And integration is something that any person can actually achieve, and that when you look at a lot of different types of, whether they be in the metaphysics, esotericism, spiritual stuff, or a spirituality, so with yoga stuff, or the updated trauma experts, somatics and somatic experiencing, you'll find they're all supporting people to restore their embodied self, and that begins and ends here. And so we get to do the same, but we get to talk about it in a bit of a different way. As a person who does experience the clairs, I'll use that word, I bring together the subscription-based model content for those people who want to access them from a human perspective. And so this means from actually understanding how your mind works, and that there are two different cycles that one can come at their, if they want, enlightenment soul age group. If they don't want, still a 5D spectrum is a person who is in oneness consciousness, which means that you become a restored embodied self. And I will keep doing this because this is you in oneness. Now, some people, though, they don't actually have a relationship with this because they're in a dysregulated or modulated embodied self. And I keep learning from people who do have shame cycles. I don't have one. I have a love cycle, which would be, actually, I'll use Dan Siegel's word of when you can have a type of conversation, I forget right now, but it's basically a dialogue. So in a reflective dialogue, which is what I've naturally done my entire life. I didn't have a word for it, now I do. But really, I just like to think of it as I think through things in a objective way, meaning I won't sit on my side of what I like or don't like. And this is why those who have a love cycle, we do dharma, not karma. Now, these are not bad words or good words. And yes, they are part of a whole bookload of information that's important. I'm not using them from that. I'm using them in a way to help people who do use these words. Karma equals action. And as Sadhguru's pointed out, when you do things consciously, you don't create karma. Dharma is when you're able to basically be an adult in your life, is what I'm going to explain to you, because you're not honing in on I like, I don't like. Okay. Integrated brain is flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable. Again, learning it from Dan Siegel, who explains the mind, interpersonal neurobiology. People are learning about the integrated brain and the mind from this human being who's a doctor, and I'm sharing with you. 5D means oneness consciousness, which is unconditional love. The moment I heard of 5D, I was like, I'm so excited for this lovely 5D. And when I saw 3 planets, because that's how the 4D community will have presented it, and they still are presenting it in this way, it's like, well, that doesn't seem like it's going to actually happen that way. And when they're saying energy vampires and dark auras, and you're not going to mix and mingle and tingle, like basically these statements of you won't be visible. I'll never forget talking about this with a 4D friend, where they're like, we won't be seen, and we're out doing stuff, and they decide that they want to read coffee cups, because besides being a tarot reader and Akashic record reader, yes, coffee cups. But here's the deal. When you're inclined or already in a 5D body type, which is a restorative and body type is what I'm going to use, basically you don't have this shame thing. You're not out there in the world feeling unprotected in your body. This is what restorative embodied self means. I feel safe in my body. I'm okay with my physical sensations. And then it also means that I can engage with other people in my ventral vagal state, socially engaged, in compassion, because I'm not taking in what's yours as mine. No, I'm able to be present and attuned at all times. I don't need to do yoga for it. I didn't need to. Some people do. The shame cycle, it's not a competition. It's a differentiation that I'm making with all my humbleness to those who do have shame cycles. I don't know this human suffering from that angle, and the more I hear about it, when I'm hearing success stories, the more I'm like, yay, we need more 5DC who are compassionate and have the enlightenment version of a love language, because if not in beyond all of these social parameters, we're going to still only hear the people who get all pissy, and pissiness is not really in functional adult. You are still not in a restored embodied self, because it means you don't trust life. And it's okay, but some of us, we do. We trust life because we, the human species, are part of nature. And nature has a natural way of moving through things. But see, nature is not just the human being or the animal or the planet or the sun or the galaxy. It's all of it. And so to reduce it, this is the part 2, only spiritual or spirituality or the human element stuff. It's reductive, and this is where the difference here for the IHP content is that I bring it all to the best of my ability for those who will be inclined to hear. We need more compassionate people. We need more enlightenment soul age group functional adults who, instead of creating extreme conversations from a place of anger, which means they still have not completely healed, which means they still have not said, you know what, yeah, I'm pissed because nobody took care of me. And not just that, other things too. And it's not a pissed because they're pissed. This is where it's an actual feeling, heartbreak, gut wrench, torn apart. I don't know it again. So when I'm hearing success stories, I get 2 things. I get excited and happy that someone's like ready to be good in their body and have well-being. And then I get very sad because I'm reminded of how powerless I am. A person who only holds love, and those who are here, I'm certain they feel the same way, because this is where we don't think of your body as my body and vice versa. No, we actually are aware that behind any person's actions is a person who's an infant if they have not yet learned how to be a functional adult. One way or another, this word evil to a person who's in 5D and has been here from a love cycle, we will never have considered it to be true. In fact, it will be dismantled year after year after year of your life. I dismantled it by the time I was 18 or 20 because the psychology showed me exactly what human suffering is, and I have reconfirmed it with all the updated somatics, somatic experiencing, and trauma-informed, the good ones, the ones who know what they're talking about, not the ones who are rigid, who in fact are holding on like this to yesterday and saying, no, the body has nothing to do with it. No, you. So again, functional adults, enlightenment, it's all about compassion, but it is about understanding how you work. So if you have suffering in your body, you're not going to have a mind that thinks of life as something that can be easy and flowing. And those who are moving into the spectrum, they are in 2 different groups. We have the ones who are able to rejoice and start loving and start sharing in a good way their journey, meaning we are here to say you can move beyond your trauma. And I'm saying people who are moving beyond it thanks to the information that is out there now. And then we have the other group who's still very upset and angry, and neither one is going to go away. What we want to do is create conversations. The only way this happens is the 5DC, enlightenment, functional adult, love language, because it's a language that says, instead of getting heated, there's at least one person of a group, or 2 or 3, that is able to be present, to attune to the group, and then to be able and just create an environment that is safe for everyone to know, we're all people. And yeah, we may have different opinions of this, and this, but we're, basically confined to doing certain activities. So let's open up nonprofits, let's write books, let's go vote, let's do this. And let's try to share all of this in an empowering way. And that's what anger doesn't do. And anything extreme and rigid, it doesn't empower. It allows people to choose their in-group and then their out-group. And that's where right now, it's not about energy vampires or dark auras. It's about people and the willingness they have to see that humanity is always going to come from the self, whether love cycle or shame cycle. We're here to support each other, and we can only do that through corrective experiences, which is through our relationships. But that can only happen if we have compassion and love for each other. So tune in for more. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and if you have any questions, let me know.